Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Friday tier, the Spanish Grand Prix. For the first time since Season 5 in F1 2020. How about that? Absolutely donkeys ago. Well, not donkeys years ago. Ages ago basically, if you don't understand that reference. Absolutely incredible to be back. It's a sprint race. It's a new track layout. I think it's pretty popular recently. Of course, due to that track change, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. New game as well. Here is our first league race in the brand new game. I'm very excited. It's going to be an awesome one. And I can't wait to see how this one goes today. We've got a couple of drivers on the grid. Of course, it is summer, so attendance is always going to be slightly lower than usual. But this is just stuff to get us warmed into the game so we can plan out for the next official season. Make sure we've got everything good to go as best as it possibly can go, because otherwise you jump straight into a season not really knowing what's going to go on, and you can have quite a few issues. For example, red flags are now in this game, and we want to try and make sure that we set that up correctly. Currently we've got it on standard. We've also got the safety car on standard. Those two things, or no, safety car on reduced, sorry. And we've got formation lap on. Those two things, or three things, are going to be very interesting to see. We're also on crossplay, so that is another fourth and final point. Oh my lord, this is going mental. Alright, here we go. Eagle Pro is about to start his second lap of the session, 11.9. He is currently set and he wants to try and get further up the order. Zingy, 11.0. I think he did, what, a 10.8, and I said I think he said he might be able to get even quicker from time trial, so he's pretty confident around this circuit, and he's doing pretty good. I'm like, he's going to have a good shot at getting an incredibly good result, maybe in both races as well. Really depends how it goes, and also the tyre situation around this circuit is going to be absolutely incredible. Not only this circuit, but the game. There's so much more advantages and disadvantages you can get from different strategies. Oh, there's a big moment there for Eagle Pro. He manages to keep it on track though. But yeah, tyre differences, they're just so complex. The setup, so much more complex since last game. Don't actually have them all nailed down yet, so everybody's kind of experimenting, so that's going to be something to look out for as well. So everything is very exciting. It's very interesting, and it can change a lot of things. Zingy, as he goes just under a quarter of a tenth, or just over a quarter of a tenth up on his current lap right now. Let's see if he can gain anything in that final sector as he gets the power down, full throttle all the way to the end, and you're going to dip down to 6th gear in the final corner. No, he actually lifts off the throttle, stays in 7th to keep the revs somewhat constant, and he does improve by just over half a tenth there into the 10.9s. And is he going to look for an 8? It's possible, as especially as we are going to be restarting the lobby, so they can use as many tyres as they want and not be worried too much. The reason why we'll restart the lobby is because we have, ironically as I was talking about the tyre, set the tyre settings up a little bit incorrectly, so we'll make sure we get that sorted very, very shortly, of course. Alright, 6 minutes on the clock. Safety car board is going absolutely mental as people move out the way, try and maybe start those up laps or slow down, of course. Need to be looking into this circuit specifically. This is why we're staying on board with Zingy right now. It's the pit lane entry around the Spanish GP circuit. It can be very, very tricky, and it might cause a couple of people to have some issues. So we'll watch, let's see. Into the pit lane he goes. Not really too much of a bump. Usually you would get a bump. Alright, we're going to go on board with not Andy, because he's not on a lap. Neither is Eichler. Neither is Eagle Pro. That is a bit embarrassing, but we'll pan away. We'll go on board with Gilly for now. I will be right back. Alright, we're back, we're good to go. Gilly, only one on track. Has he run out of fuel? Let's have a quick double check. Seems like they might have. Yeah, they're full throttle and they can't gain any power. So Gilly's really been trying to rag it hard. He's gone 2 laps on these tyres to try and give him the best chance of getting the best lap time. He still sits on a 12.0 at the moment. And he's going to take a long time to get to the pit lane here. Everybody sat in the pit lane watching him do this lap. He's got a while to go until he gets into the pit lane. And, you know, we don't have exactly ages left of the session. 4 minutes as it just popped up on the screen right there. So, yeah, tricky stuff. Alrighty, Yotos is going to be on their lap very shortly, so we'll watch on board with them in a couple of seconds, and then we'll see what they can do. We saw them debut in Silverstone for both the Friday and the Saturday tier. Oh, no, what? Yeah, were they in the Saturday tier? I think they're in the Saturday tier. Regardless, they're in both, yeah. We'll see if they can score some good points. They had some nice battles last time around, so hopefully we can see them back in the fight. They actually had a bit of an issue in qualifying on the Saturday tier. They were impeded, so hopefully they don't get that again today. They're going to set their final run very, very shortly as they go around the final 2 corners. Keep the momentum high as you prepare for this final lap. Let's watch on board. Final corner, stay in 7th gear, a little bit of a lift, and then back onto the throttle immediately. And we carry on. Gilly will try and keep it as accurate as possible. Obviously, there's only a certain amount we can actually do with the settings we have compared to dynamic weather, but there will be at least some rain in the race, depending on what settings I'm being shown by the drivers, so I'll check that once we restart the lobby. Turn 7 and 8, turn 9 right here. Flat should be somewhat easy unless you've really gone low on the downforce to get a race setup sorted. And into 10, very, very infamous, and it's going to be a tricky corner. They're going side by side out because some people will probably try and push each other off that green section of the circuit, of course. Now, final corners to go. Keep it flat, don't ride that inside curb. And of course, once again, trying to keep it flat. I think they might have got it done there, and across the line, they improved by a 10.5. That's going to be an 11.7 to defend from Egapro behind. Will it be enough for them to hold that P4? However, Zingy starts his final run in qualifying as he's riding over those curves nice and hard. Keep it tight to the right hand side to minimize track distance. It doesn't matter about the scrubbing generally in the simulator games. And now run it wide to the outside, believe it or not, to keep that wheel as straight as possible. Maybe a bit of rear locking into the next into turn 5 as you try and get the car rotated. And now you go up 7, 8 over the curve, which you wouldn't have done last game, but you've got enough stability. Flat through 9, not riding over the curve, interestingly, so not using all the circuit. And now into the hairpin. So they get their rear switched around. They actually are down by 2 tenths, so that is not going to be a good enough lap time to go any faster. Unless Singy's managed to save some ERS, that is going to be him done with qualifying. I think he'll go to the pit lane. He will, and that will be his situation sorted. No more. Alright, and Andrews, he's got a lap. He's preparing to get ready. We're going to go on board with Heischler as he has got a couple more corners to go. And he will finish his run. We'll go over the sector line now to see what it's looking like, up by just over half a tenth there. That wouldn't be enough to get to Zingy, but it might be enough to catch up to End Andrews if you can really find a lot of time in this final sector. And you never know, as it's such a high-speed corner, you can possibly find quite a bit of time. And he goes a little bit wide, but still tries to keep it as flat as possible. And that is going to be pretty much dead on. Not going to be an improvement for Heisler. That'll be qualifying over for him. We've got End Andrews in the first sector at the moment. The Ferrari is not going to set an improvement lap. Nifojan might give it a shot here to try and get ahead of Sefka. Sefka also on a lap, so these guys are having a bit of shootout right now. Nifojan round the final corner, and across the line he will go into the pit lane, it seems. Well, he's just had a bit of a mistake out that final corner, so he will not be improving. Sefka across the line. Let's have a look and see what they can do. And they will not be able to improve position-wise. That is going to be them staying in P7. And Andrews, he's going purple in the middle sector. Will he be able to challenge for pole position against Zingy in the AlphaTauri? Will it be Alfa Romeo or AlphaTauri? Round the final corner we go now, keeping it tight to the inside line. Back on the throttle, DRS open. And it's going to be pole position for End Andrews. How about that? Oh, it's not? What? I swear it went up. I swear it went up. Okay, it's not going to be pole position. He looked pretty epic for a split second there until it popped up with a P2. So fair enough. He managed to fool me. 0.075 seconds away though. Zingy takes pole position, and Andrews in P2 and Heisler in P3. That's the rest of the grid. We'll go for the race director just in case if we need to later on. And we'll be back in a little bit after we've reset the lobby. We'll see you in a bit. All right, thank you very much for waiting. We won't be long until we're back. Hello everyone and welcome back. Oh my lord, I've messed it up again, haven't I? Okay, hold on, give it a second. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI summer season. We're today for the Spanish Grand Prix, round 3 out of 6 for the summer season. And this is going to be a sprint race event. We start with the sprint race, of course, we're on the formation lap right now. Zingy on pole, with End Andrews very, very close behind. Dave Raptors joins us late to the session. They start at the back. Everybody's now going to have fresh tyres. They're going to be good to go tyre set wise. But also, they might have made some setup changes because we restarted the lobby. We'll see. Something that I can confirm is that we're going to get some rain at the end of the race in the main race. In the sprint, it's all going to be completely dry. And at the end of the race, we'll see some intermediate conditions come out. And, well, we might find that we don't need to pit. We might find that we do need to pit. It's approximate. We will not be able to tell. We're going to go and quickly look at all the data just in case. Let's have a look at the tyres before we start the races. We're on the formation lap. We can do that now. Medium tyres for the top 3. Then we have Gotos, Egapro and Gilly opting for that soft tyre to try and save it for the main race. Then we have Sefko Nefojan on the mediums again, doing the standard strategy, and Dave Raptor's going for the classic soft tyres he really does like to do. Talking about the main race and strategy, it could be very mixed. 2 stops can work in this game. Anything can happen. We will see, of course. We're about to go racing for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're just getting lined up on the grid. This is going to be a good one. The first race that we have in the F123 game. Hold your breath and clench your butt cheeks because we're about to go racing. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it into turn 1? We are finally away. There you go. Zingy gets away well. And Andrews sitting behind. He's going to slot in. Can he get the toe down to turn one? It's a long way to the outside line. He goes again. Heischler trying to have a look, but he's got a McLaren to the inside. Zingy tries to squeeze him off, but and Andrews comes back down to the outside line, has to drop back. That is Heischler going to be right behind. He wants to try and get involved in this one. Will and Andrews have a look to the inside. He goes for a quick fakie. We do have Gilly swiping down the inside of Nifajan. In fact, Nifajan actually trying to make the overtake as he is doing his best, locking the rears. Bit of contact with Dave Raptors from behind, and Gilly goes off the circuit, losing positions. We've got Sefka going to the inside line at turn 7. That is not what we usually see. It didn't work out, but he gave it his best shot, didn't he? Fair play to him. And Andrews sitting behind. The toe is a lot stronger in this game, but it's not strong enough for a move for anybody on that back straight, even on lap 1. We do have the McLaren and Gatos right behind Heischler. They really do want to get involved in something, I'm sure, but they're just going to have to wait and hold their horses for now. All good. We start lap 2 of the race. Will we see any kind of move? We do know, once again, the slipstream, the ERS, so powerful in this game, but the DRS is also incredibly powerful, and I think End Andrews is definitely going to wait for that one. Lap 2 out of 11. We've got one of the longer sprint races on the grid, and you have plenty of time to make good positions. 8 points for a win. 1 point for 8th place, so whoever finishes last out of this order will score no points. I was going to say petit pois, but I thought I'd probably mess it up like I just did, so I apologise for butchering that one. Now, once again, the McLaren is right there. Could that change a little bit later? Definitely. He's on that soft tyre. He should have the grip advantage. He needs to utilise it now. So does EgaPro. Everybody else, but he makes a mistake. Nifajan's going to be behind. And the McLaren of Dave Raptors takes it to the different layout. I do not believe it. Joins very, very aggressively, almost making contact with the Mercedes. The Mercedes trying to sweep to the outside line, but Dave Raptors is just about held on. They have to leave the space to the inside line. They've got all the grit on their tyres. It's not going to work. They're going to surely have to concede the position after that one. That was a little bit chaotic. Zingy now sits in front. DRS will be available on this lap, so they'll get it on the back straight and on the next start finish straight when they start lap 4, of course. So this is going to be a crucial turning point for the entire grid so far. Gatos loving life right now in the train. He doesn't have EgaPro too close behind him, but EgaPro really does need to get a move on if he wants to make use of these soft tyres. As I said in qualifying, the complexity of the game regarding tyres is absolutely unreal compared to previous games, and it's going to just make it so difficult. Even if going for an overtake, you now get marbles on your tyres. It's not that bad, but it does affect you, and it's going to be something that you have to really consider throughout this entire race. The drop-off points on tyres are very different. You can not gain pace, but they'll drop hard, then they'll stay there, then they'll drop again. It can all happen. Tyre temps we're not really sure on at the moment, because you usually say they need to be within 90 to 100 degrees. However, the tyres do seem to get very, very hot this game. Gatos having some lag issues, so hopefully that is just momentary and not any more than that. Otherwise we could be in trouble, but yeah, hopefully that is the rest of the lag issues we will see. Dave Raptors finally goes for that move on Sefka. He makes the progress work. He's on that soft tyre, so he has the advantage within probably the next 2 laps, maybe 3. I believe, if I'm correct in saying, that the softs probably last a little bit longer than they used to. So they are somewhat useful, but once again going off the circuit, proving me wrong. Dave Raptors makes a mistake. It might be time to just try and figure out a long game, because he is on that soft tyre. He's not going to be pitting in the sprint race. You're never going to consider that. That being said, he's probably looking forwards to not being on the soft tyre, as he of course will use this set. He's going to have 2 sets of mediums for the main race. I assume he's gone for that balanced compound tyre allocation and not the harder, so that is why he's probably on that soft tyre, which will just make it a lot more safer Alright, and Andrews gets his best opportunity to overtake. He is catching up with the DRS. Zingy's not going to be phased by it as he moves back to the racing line, realises, and Andrews, you're not going to be attacking me right now. I am going to make sure that I keep the pace up. Riding that inside curve goes Zingy, and Andrews tries to follow on, but did not get it right as he makes a mistake. Doesn't drop out too far, but yeah, that's not what you want to see, and it definitely gives your rival an advantage. Of course, mentality-wise, Heifler drops back a bit, unfortunately, so he's not in the DRS range, but he does also have clean air behind him, so he's not under any pressure. Egapro right behind that McLaren, so he should be able to make a move within the next couple of laps pretty easily. I don't think it should be that difficult to do with a tyre advantage. Nipperjan in P6, they're also looking to try and do the same thing. Gilly, he might be in a bit of a different story, trying to hold on from Dave Raptors, who's once again made that move on Sefka as he's losing the car again. So these guys switching up lap after lap. Very, very crazy stuff. Now we've got Zingy once again down the straight, but 6/10 is what splits them. I don't think that's enough for the straight here at Spain. Maybe if he used all his battery, but I really don't think it is enough at Spain. You could see as Zingy defended to the inside line, the marbles picked up on his tyres. Visually at least, and it definitely will affect him, but he got to the racing line, and by the time he got to the racing line, the grip was just back to its normal state. He spent enough time on the racing line. Guttos is round, unfortunately, on that soft tyre. Egapro is now released, and that is everything that he wanted to do, but somehow Nipperjan has lost out, so maybe there was a bit of an incident there that we didn't get to see. Nipperjan drops back away from Egapro, possibly avoiding action. Egapro doesn't really seem to lose much time at all, and he just holds on and takes that position for himself, so fair enough. We'll have to look at that one later on. These two, however, are the main guys to watch, and I think we could see an overtake within the next couple of laps, of course. Although, and Andrews, sitting in P2 as he started, maybe he doesn't really want to go for it now. Might have got a track limit warning for that mistake there as he pushes the car a little bit too hard. He loses even more time. That's now 7/10 gap that he's got to Zingy. It's going to be even less likely for him to actually make an overtake after all. So, yeah, very tricky stuff going on right now. We'll go to Dave Raptors, who's very close to the back of Gilly, but Gilly gets the pressure, goes for the move on Nipperjan. Nipperjan moves to the racing line. He's got no battery. Will Dave Raptors send it to the inside? Never going to send it from that far back. He might have a run, but I think the tyres should definitely be towards Nipperjan's pace, of course. He does have that flashing light, which is never ideal. It's allowing Gilly to hold on. It's allowing Dave Raptors to close up and maybe spot an opportunity to make an overtake. Nipperjan makes a mistake, but he's still not close enough just yet. Having to wait longer and longer, and these tyres are only going to get worse. So he does need to try and spot something soon. This is the close battle we have right now, and Nipperjan's round. Oh, no. He might have damage from that one, and that, luckily, not going to be a retirement, but it might promote Gatos back into the points. These guys are going to be fighting now after we had two spins from two different drivers right there. Gilly now leads with Dave Raptors fairly far away behind them. They're both on equal tyres now. He will catch up on the straight here, but I don't know if he's going to catch up enough to really make an overtake just yet. It's going to be pretty straightforward though if he does, and he is going to be using some energy to have a go to the inside line. He will send it, and he's going to take the racing line as Gilly backs off. Gilly isn't willing to fight that one, interestingly. He just wanted to kind of let it go, relax. Maybe trying to secure the P6 and the sprint. Nipperjan makes that move back on Gatos already. Nipperjan did a very good job to straight away get back in front with the tyre temperatures being like that, but they make a mistake as they ride the curb once again, as Andrews did earlier on. Luckily, they still hold on. Their tyres should be good to go. ERS-wise might not be so straightforward, however, Gatos is in exactly the same position. So, that being said, he should be good, but once again, losing the rear. These tyres are dead for both drivers after their spins. Braking points are very, very different. Nipperjan goes off, and that is going to be Gatos making that position very, very easily. Once again, lag is going to be a little bit of a factor. We start lap 9 out of 11, and here we go. Andrews closer than ever, lost a bit of time. in that final sector after being just 3/10 behind. They're relaxing though still. They're sitting behind and not really worrying about it too much. Neither is Zingy, to be honest. He's leading the way. He's got clean air, perfect tyre temperatures. He's got a lot of battery in that car. He's very, very confident. He's just managing this race. Might get a little bit technical when we get to the final laps of the Grand Prix, though, of course. But we'll definitely wait and see how that one goes within the next 2 laps, basically, because we are just on our way to the penultimate lap of the race. And we'll be looking at the decider for the win. Nobody has a time penalty at the moment, and I hope it stays that way because we love to see some good racing that is just settled on track. We will find out very, very shortly. Heischler in the background, if these guys make a mistake, he'll definitely be picking up anything that does go wrong. Ega Pro in P4, he's a little far away, so I don't think he'll be able to pick anything much, but yeah, we'll see. Switching up between Gatos and Nifojan again. Lots going on with the McLaren drivers. Now, here we go. End Andrews. Is he going to challenge for the overtake on lap 10? He's not. I'm surprised at that. I'm really surprised that he didn't try and push Zingy into a bit of pressure early on and then actually make the move stick on the final lap. He's actually going to wait until the very end. This might be an opportunity here for Zingy to push, create a bit of a gap and prevent End Andrews getting anywhere near on that start-finish straight, because that is going to be the main threat and pretty much still the only threat. Despite the track changes, it's very unlikely that someone's going to be able to make an overtake on that turn 10 hairpin unless you're incredibly close as the car ahead has made a mistake. Other than that, I don't think we're going to see anything changing. We're going to go back to these guys just for a quick moment as we can. Nifojan holding on for now. Is it going to work out for him though, as he has to go defensive into turn 5. We'll go through 6, which is barely a corner. He'll gain the position as Nifojan goes off. Lots of switching between these guys. Gilly also might be looking for a battle very, very shortly. But this is the moment of truth. Zingy leads the way for the final lap of the sprint race here. End Andrews sits behind, going to be using all the battery. The DRS, the slipstream is available. The marbles on the car are going to lose him some grip, but still to the inside goes End Andrews. Space is left, but he backs up anyway to look for the switchback. He doesn't make it work. Misjudges the space as he accidentally taps the back of the AlphaTauri. Still going to get a good run looking to the outside line, but now sends it to the inside. Zingy's got it covered. He knows what he's doing right here. And Andrews gave it his best shot, but I think that might be his final shot. It's going to be a hell of an effort to try and get a move down the back straight, as I said earlier. We will watch on and see if anything does happen, but he makes a mistake himself. It's not going to happen. Zingy's going to secure the win after that one. Absolutely incredible. We'll quickly look at Gilly and Dave Raptors. These guys might switch up here. Both losing a lot of energy. They don't have anything available. It's pure DRS and slipstream. Will he be able to challenge into the hairpin? He's going to have to send it from very far back. If he does so, he's not. That is Nifojan going to make that move on Gatos as Gatos makes a mistake. But it's all about this man. Zingy comes around the final corner to win the sprint race in Spain. And he returns to the Spanish Grand Prix, the circuit where we last raced in Season 5, his first championship win. This is the first time that Zingy has been on the podium in Spain, and it's a win. Perfect stuff. Let's see if he can carry this on into the main race. I do wonder who actually got the fastest lap of that race. And Andrews did get it. Doesn't really matter though, because it doesn't get you an extra point. So if Zingy can get the win and the fastest lap on the next race, he'll get the triple. He will get the triple. That was very, very entertaining indeed. Dave Raptors gets driver of the day as he joins from the back of the grid to make some moves, and now he's going to start somewhat further up the grid, of course, ready for the main race. In P5, that is. Then he takes the win, and Andrews in P2, Heischler, Ega Pro, Dave Raptors, Gilly, Sefka, Gatos, and Nifojan finishing at the back after a mistake at the very, very end there. That is the grid, just to double check. Race Director, we will get it in this game. Thank you very much, EA and Codemasters, for that. We'll be back for the main race. We'll see you in a bit for a bit of rain. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI summer season once again. We have the formation lap. I was ready to get going. I'm definitely not used to it. We're going to have a nice little relax before we get ready for the start of this race, of course. We'll get all the data on the screen as usual, which will be nice to get early on, of course, so we can deal with it much later on in the race rather than having to sort it out nice and early. Here is the tyre situation then. Zingy and Andrews and Heisler once again opting for the same tyre. Going for that hard tyre is the straightforward one, and it was the bog standard one, especially in the last game. Igapro and Dave Raptors going for the medium tyre. Maybe they're realising we could actually do a two-stop. Maybe the safety car will come in, but also we might get rain towards the end. I reckon Zingy and Andrews and Heisler, everyone on the Haas, are looking to go all the way until the wet section of the race, and then going to try and get straight onto an inter. Igapro Dave Raptors, maybe they're going for a double medium or medium soft, and then going on to the intermediate tyre, try and see if they can get some pace on that. It's worth a risk. Sefka Gatos onto the soft tyre as well. They're trying something very, very different, which might work out for them. We'll have to wait and see. They might even be able to get a nice undercut, but with the rain, once again, we're getting an extra pit stop whether you like it or not. Likely, at least I say, unless approximate weather tells us otherwise. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes very, very shortly, won't we? Now, Zingy lines up in the grid box. He's going to be pointing pretty straight forward, and Andrews might point to the left-hand side a little bit more. But regardless of where you point, we're about to go racing. Hold your breath, clench your butt cheeks, because we're about to go racing for the Spanish Grand Prix. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? We're finally away. Zingy, can he replicate the start that he got last time? He can. And Andrews, can he get the toe and maybe make it work this time to the outside line? He's going to try his best. He has the advantage. He's ahead. And I think he's going to get the lead, pushing him right to the line. Is Andrews. Zingy, though, manages to somehow magically get back in front. Will he try and challenge him into turn three? He will not be able to give it a shot. He actually does manage to hold it somewhat to the outside line. Zingy secures it, though. That is going to be the position gained. Side by side with the McLaren. Locking up the Riz, it seems, with Heisler. The McLaren of Dave Raptors is going to go for a move on the Williams. They're already going to make it work on that medium tyre. Absolutely perfect. Now they've just got two cars in front of them to make this strategy work. Couldn't have gone better for them right there. Perfect. Heisler, P4 now. They're going to have to just try and think of the long game here. We've got Igapro, who's also on that medium tyre, but he makes a mistake and he's going to lose a position to Gilly. The Ferrari making progress on that hard tyre. He does not want this to happen. That's exactly what he doesn't need for this kind of strategy. Gonna have to back off as Gilly takes the racing line, losing a little bit of momentum. There was Igapro's Gatos almost had a look. Nifojan and P8 and Sefka back behind. Here we go. Zingy starts lap 2 and we go down to turn 1. No one going to be making an overtake, although Igapro is having a look to the inside of... No, he's trying to defend from Gatos, who's on that soft tyre. Lags back or something. I don't know what just happened there. Nifojan in the end manages to gain from that one. Sefka stays out on track after a spin, it must have been. Seems like he doesn't have damage, so that maybe that's why he's staying out. But that is not what we want to see, of course, from him. What a shame. Zingy and Andrews, they kept each other company last time, and now they've got somebody else to join the party. Dave Raptors, he's on that medium tyre. He should be on the pace, if not quicker, with this medium tyre. And then you have to go on to that intermediate tyre much later into the race. Can he carry on with the medium tyre? Can he bring the soft tyre in and make it work? I really don't know. It's going to be a crazy time, of course. Heisler, he just wants to make sure that he doesn't drop out of this train, because if he doesn't drop out of the train, then he can secure at least a podium by doing so, because Dave Raptors, he's going to be on that different strategy. I'm going to say Heisler's probably on the more beneficial strategy. Dave Raptors is on the more aggressive strategy, of course, though, so he might have a go. Would we see an early attempt at an overtake? It's not wise to do so, and Andrews stays behind, but he does go fastest sitting behind that AlphaTauri, so he definitely knows what he's doing right now. Sitting in the tow, getting that slipstream. Gonna get DRS this lap, so should be able to go even faster than before, and then that might be the end of the fastest lap attempts for the time being. This might actually be the end of fastest lap attempts whatsoever, because of course later on the tyres will get worn out. Maybe some people will make pit stops, but when it gets to the wet conditions, you're not going to be going any quicker than we currently are going. Gilly, he's close behind as Eager Pro splits up a bit of a train. He's almost within DRS range, just needs a little bit more work to do, and he can get it done with that more beneficial strategy, but he does have a DRS train in front of him right now. He should have some pretty high-speed corners, which will gain him a lot of time, but right now it's looking pretty difficult. Everybody else behind them pretty close together. Sefka, of course, dropped back earlier on. We're going to start lap 4, and Andrews is going to get a lovely, lovely run down to turn 1. Will he try and push for the overtake early on in this race? It's powerful. It's very, very powerful. He is going to go for the move, possibly looking for the switchback, but no. Zingy realizes he's going to let him go, and he takes the racing line, keeps the momentum up. Dave Raptor's not as close as I thought, but yet he is third in the train, so DRS trains do make it very difficult for him. Eager Pro wasn't able to get the DRS there, actually, into turn 1, so he had to make a bit of a compromise. He's got a lap here to try and catch back up, and he can definitely do it, but it's not going to be so straightforward after all. Gilly's sitting in P6. They're putting that pressure on. They're maintaining that pressure. We've got Nifo, Jan, and Gatos once again switching positions, as that is going to be the soft tyre runner up ahead. He's on lap 4. He should be good to go for at least a couple laps, but Nifo Jan is close behind. Not looking for the overtake, though. They sit behind. They don't want to hinder themselves too much, because there is 33 laps in this race. A long way to go yet. Definitely going to be thinking about the long run. Zingy starts the 5th lap of the Grand Prix now. He's once again in the lead, and Andrews closer than ever. Will he try and just go for the move anyway? He's pulling to the outside line, lifting off the throttle. Not going to be making that move whatsoever. He's just going to let it go. Locks the rears. Actually, Dave Raptor's close behind. Maybe he actually had an issue. Zingy leaves the session. I do not believe it. He disconnects. Dave Raptors is going to put the pressure on here on the Alfa Romeo. He's going to lead. After all of that, what just happened? A switchback available for Andrews. I don't think it's going to work too well. The McLaren manages to jump into P1 after that one. Heischler is now in the train for the top 3, and Zingy, after so good pace, leading the race, disconnects. What the hell just happened there? What a shame, first of all. But now, what a disaster. He joins back. He sits in P4. He's out of the DRS range. They are going to have a battle in front. And it could change. There's contact. There's contact. Heischler makes a mistake and makes contact with the back of Andrews. More contact, possibly right there, as he's very close to the back of the Alfa Romeo. But that changed everything. Dave Raptors now, he might have just broken away from DRS. I think Andrews might have clutched it just that he did. Now, no battery left from Dave Raptors. There's going to be battles. Zingy can still catch up. He loses momentum. He's going to lose out to Eager Pro, of course, but he's in the race. That's what matters, is lap 6. He's got such a long way to go. He got to hope that these guys get in some scuffles, and they quite possibly will. Dave Raptors has got to lead this race. He's got to be aggressive if he wants to make this strategy work. Heischler, he's sitting in P3. He wants to try and make a move, at least on Andrews, his fellow strategy runner. He's got to make this work as well. And Andrews, he's just got to try and be calm about this and make it work, because he has the advantage. He has a significant advantage as of now. Just don't make any mistakes. You've got to make sure that he's not too greedy. Zingy looking to the outside line already on Eager Pro, as he's going to try and sweep around the outside despite being on the more disadvantaged tyre. He has so much pace in this game. He has so much confidence, but he's side by side and he does brake early. He is legally allowed to do that because he was side by side. Very well played there, as he's going to make sure that he gets back this position in a more secure and safer manner. DRS and ERS will be available. That will be the position game. And Andrews looking for the lead already on Dave Raptors. Dave Raptors didn't really have a choice. Doesn't have any energy. Lap 7 on these medium tyres. Maybe, just maybe the hard tyres are quicker than we actually thought around this circuit. If you get tyre pressures wrong, it definitely will have a big effect on your race. Dave Raptor's still in the train for now, and he's done a very good job regarding where he started. But that's an interesting situation. And Andrews made that move work. Now he's got clean air. He's got to make sure that he breaks away from this train and has 2 cars in between himself and Zingy, because Zingy is almost on the back of that train right here for DRS. Just going to miss out on it this lap. No, he's going to be in it already. Fair enough, and he's going to bring Iga Pro with him. We've got a full train right now. Absolutely mental stuff going on right here. Zingy's done it. Absolutely perfect from him. And Heischler, he's now going to be having to look in his mirrors. So he's going to really have to think about this one. And Andrews leaves the session. That's 2 drivers now having issues. And he's got his issue a little bit later on, which makes it very difficult. That is going to be Heischler looking for the overtake into the lead of the Grand Prix on the McLaren. Once again, Dave Raptor sitting in P2, this time with the Williams in front of him. What is going on? Absolutely insane. Okay. I really can't explain this. Zingy makes the move on then Andrews' AI. And Andrews is going to drop back pretty far, and I think once again drop back behind Iga Pro by the time he rejoins the session. He's already in the session. He's just waiting to get control of his car. He has control of it now. I think he does. Possibly. Just waiting for the ghosting. No, he doesn't have control of it. Gilly is going to catch up quite nicely. We'll see. We'll see. Now he's got control of the car. He's lost the position to Gilly as well, compared to Zingy just losing that position to Iga Pro only. He's got a lot of hard work to do right here. So both the race leaders and the top 2 from the last race and the sprint race, they are having some very, very, very large technical difficulties, which could be race defining. Zingy had that issue, looked like it's all over, but he has had it early on in the race. And even though it was just, about 3 laps difference, it's enough to give you that advantage. It's enough to give you that edge. I would much rather have an issue on lap 1 or 2 rather than have it on lap 10. It's just going to be crippling. Anything can change. This is league racing, so do not give up yet. We will see how this one goes. And Andrews may have had that issue, but he's not that far away. He sits right behind. Sefka retires from the session, causing a safety car. Everybody is going to be able to relax here. It's only a VSC, despite a full retirement on the circuit, pretty close to the track, or where the drivers will be. No full safety car, just going to be a VSC. And Andrews can try and gather himself, save ERS from what the AI would have burned when they were driving. And then everybody else can do the same, to be honest. But Dave Raptors, would he want to consider a pit stop right here? Could he go to the medium tyre and try and lose minimal time? Because he's going to surely have to pit at least at some point. Now, the thing is, I believe, if I'm correct, he can make it to the end regardless of this stint, at least. His tyres are just going to be so dead, it just won't be worth it. We'll see. Unsure when we're going to restart. It just kind of went away and then came back. So we're waiting for the confirmation. Heischler will lead the way. DRS enabled as we do go for the restart mid-corner. And a perfect restart there for Dave Raptors, as Heischler unfortunately had to lift naturally due to the corner situation. Now Dave Raptors has energy and he is able to attack, but he decides to not go for it just yet, makes a mistake, and Zingy is not going to be wanting that in front of him. He wants to make that move sooner rather than later, and Andrews has already made that move on Gilly. How about that? Very good job from him. Perfectly done. Big moment once again from Dave Raptors. We saw this in the sprint race. We're seeing it again, despite being on a slightly harder tyre, and usually having a bit colder tyre temps, which should be easier to manage. But He's just really trying to be aggressive on that throttle, which is not good for blistering. That does exist in this game, and that's where you see the drop-off that I was talking about earlier on. It drops off initially, and then it gets to a phase where it's good, and then it drops off again. DRS available, and with the slipstream and ERS being available and pretty powerful in this game, might have a go, but no, Dave Raptors is going to decide to challenge Heischler into the first corner, but backs off. He just wants to make sure that he holds on to the position ahead of Zingy rather than actually going for the lead right now. So fair enough, trying to play it smart. In the meantime, End Andrews once again making an overtake there as Eager Pro is now down to P5, End Andrews back to P4. He's got 4.3 seconds to catch to the cars in front, and these guys are in a bit of a battle along with a medium tyre runner, so he will be able to catch up quite nicely. You can see the weather, you can see the light clouds kicking in, so we're heading towards the halfway mark of this race. Very, very tricky stuff right there. Still holds on, does Dave Raptors once again riding that curb. That's the second time we've seen that from Zingy, riding that inside curb, and we also saw him doing it at turn 3 and losing out a little bit, really trying to put everything on the line, risking it all. At the moment, he's at the mercy of the cars in front. He wants to make this overtake there, but he can't because he's third in the train. He can't do it. He really needs to send it in the corners because look at the gap that End Andrews has caught up. That's absolutely phenomenal from him. Very, very well played indeed. That is another yellow. That is another yellow. Gatos has an issue. That's going to be a virtual safety car again within just a couple of laps. Saving ERS we will be doing again. That's going to make it very interesting for Dave Raptors. He will probably either continue or pit, and continue because he saves a lot of ERS, or pit, I don't know, but Gatos retires. How did they retire there? Under virtual safety car conditions, DRS is enabled as we're already going racing. Dave Raptors is going to lead the way after a big shock restart all of a sudden. Heischler once again wants to have a look to the outside line. He's going to try and carry it around, but no. He's now going to get attacked by the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri trying to go way wide, looking for the switchback if possible. Oh, Heischler makes a mistake and he will get the switchback after all. It wasn't even going to be possible until then. And now Zingy is going to be P2 in the train, and he's going to have a phenomenal opportunity to get into the lead immediately after the restart. He does so with ease. That is going to be Zingy leading once again on lap 13. End Andrews, his rival, in P4, 3.5 seconds away from this train. So that is absolutely what Zingy needed. Absolutely what End Andrews didn't need, but he can still catch up to this train if he really thinks about it hard and works hard at it, gets that lap time in. Strategy, as I said, is going to be crucial. Who's going to pit when? It's very, very different to the last game. The undercut seems to be where everything is gained. You do about 2 or 3 laps undercut, you should be able to gain a lot, but as I've been saying, DRS ERS is so much more powerful, and slipstream of course to add to that. In this game, it makes overtaking even easier. So even if you are ahead and get that significant undercut, the overcut with the fresher tyres might be more beneficial. We'll wait and see, of course, anything can happen. End Andrews catches further. These guys are in the train, which is somewhat good news for Zingy, because it prevents End Andrews from getting into the train as easily. But it does still show that he is not too slow, End Andrews. Fair play to Dave Raptors to be in this race still, in this battle, I should say, on those really old medium tyres at the moment. Lap 14 out of 33, but as I speak, I give him the commentator's curse. He's going to lose out, but not to Heischler. Heischler was not close enough to gain from that. sitting behind and just letting it go. He carries on where he is. 2/10 gain since we last checked in on End Andrews. And we look at this battle here. We have Pro and Gilly both in the DRS. Well, not both in the DRS. Gilly's in the DRS. And they're holding on quite nicely. They have a fair bit of energy as a mistake is made for Pro. Pro is going to lose out significantly for that. He does have a bit more energy than Gilly does, but making that big mistake, allowing the Ferrari to get so close is going to be so beneficial to Gilly. He'll just be able to make an overtake fairly easily. Will he blast all his energy? Pro to defend this position. That is what you need to do if you want to hold on. Gilly is going to look for the overtake. He goes to the inside line. Pro is going to brake so much later. Gilly, I don't know what was going on there, but he all of a sudden decided to back out, and the Aston stays in front. Nothing happened overall after all of that, but End Andrews makes another mistake. He goes down the order, avoids the marker boards, but an absolutely horrible, horrible race for him. What bad luck he's had. Of course, Zingy had the same issue as him, but I don't know. What a shame. That mistake is definitely going to be pretty hard to take. And he's not going to be happy with himself after that. The Alfa Romeo driver will be struggling. However, once again, we do have rain, so anything can happen. We can definitely see a switch up. I think he leads the way, and he still has the train behind him, so dragging them along with him. Now he probably doesn't really need to worry. And of course, we have Dave Raptors on that medium tyre, so he's only going to get slower from this point onwards and make it easier and easier and easier for Zingy to break away and run off into the distance as we have seen so many times in this summer season, bar one race in Hungary, of course, for the Saturday tier. And as expected, End Andrews gives up from the race after that mistake. It is a shame that he's given up, but I guess he just doesn't want to see what happens. Never mind. Zingy will now be loving that as his rival from the sprint race is out of contention. And he does have, once again, as I will say, the medium tyre behind him, which at this stage is going to be at a disadvantage. So he's going to have such a advantage, not only physically but mentally now. Eichler sits behind, he's doing a good job to hold on, he's got that medium tyre, he should have the benefit, and this, at the moment, that looking at the gaps, would be a pretty secure podium, if not a P2. Tyre-wise, he'll have the advantage, of course, as I said, but also, strategy-wise. That being said, Dave Raptors isn't doing too badly on lap 17 out of 33. And he's holding on to track position. And if he can have track position when we get onto the wet tyres, he'll be absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. That being said, we've still got a long way to go until that does happen. So it's not going to be that easy. But 22, we'll see kind of where the window would come in for rain. We could see it come a little bit early, we could see it come a little bit later, and we're likely to see it come a lot later. Of course, you also need to wait for the circuit to get wetter, and you don't know how long it is going to take to get wetter, let alone the rain start. So that'll be something to consider. Zingy into the pit lane, interestingly. He's going for that pit stop. Maybe he's not trusting that the rain will kick in enough. Maybe he's even thinking that he'll have enough pace by being on a softer set of tyres. If these guys do carry on, the tyre advantage that you do have would be so significant. You are really quick when you get on a fresh set of tyres, and you're really slow when you're on an old set of tyres. So in that regard, this might be the idea. He is the leader, he is the one to call this, of course. Gonna have cold tyres and you're off the racing line when you exit the pit lane. which is never a good thing. You get those marbles to make it even more difficult for you, of course. The Heisler is released into P2 of the train, of course, P2 currently, which would definitely allow him to have a clean run at Dave Raptors, as Dave Raptors goes for a very, very interesting fake. He actually loses out, but Heisler makes a mistake and gets himself a time penalty. Gonna make that move is Heisler in a very interesting circumstance. That was absolutely incredible there. I did not expect that to happen, but fair enough. Dave Raptors initially trying to fool Heisler into making a move, but it actually backfired as he all of a sudden lost so much momentum. Heisler still lost out regarding time penalties, and that might change the result of this race towards the end. Now, we'll see how this goes. The hard tyre is going to be what you'd usually expect Dave Raptors to go for at this stage. However, he's gone so long on this medium tyre, I'm pretty sure he's going to go for the one-stop soft tyre for this race. So if he can hold on to DRS and make sure he loses minimal time right here, then he'll be in a good position to make that strategy work. Will the soft tyres hold on though towards the end though? That's the question. Will they be fast enough to actually gain back up? The very, very long start-finish rate that you get right here will be so beneficial here. Heisler's going to go into the pit lane after leading one lap and gaining that extra time that he does really want over Zingy. Of course, Zingy now sitting in P5. No one's going to make a pit stop behind. Actually, Gilly does go into the pit lane as they try and follow the race leaders somewhat. And Heisler taking that pit stop. Where will Zingy be compared to the Williams? Very, very far in front. That undercut is absolutely incredible. And Nifajan, he was ahead of Zingy earlier on, so he's managed to make that move work. So Zingy has made an overtake and got a 5 second gap. A 5 second gap, maybe even 6 seconds almost, on Heisler. Absolutely incredible. To add to that, he's got a time penalty. So that is going to be a 9 second gap right there. Even more, actually, I think. Yeah, it's even more. He's got an incredible, incredible gap by just going a couple laps early. He proved that it's right. And in the meantime, this guy is just trying to make this work. You can see he's all over the place with the tyres. Is he going to go into the pit lane already? He is. Oh, and he's made a mistake and he's going to have to go across there. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That was absolutely brutal. Almost went completely wrong. You can see how difficult these tyres are to manage. And that is the, not beauty, but the consequence of going long in the race. You are going to have so much of a grip disadvantage. They degrade so severely. Okay. That was absolutely incredible. Well saved there from Dave Raptors. He reacted very, very nicely. That being said, he's lost so much time to the cars behind, and that is going to be absolutely crucial for the likes of Heisler, who has that time penalty, of course, and was battling with Dave Raptors. Dave Raptors is now going to go for a pit stop one lap later. I still think he's going for that soft tyre, but I really don't know if the soft tyre can actually go that long into the race, or into the stint, I should say. So does he even want to pit yet? Does he not want to extend it even further? But you lose so much time. It's really weighing it up. Is he just going to have to go safe and go for that harder tyre? He once again tries to brake as late as he can, a little bit earlier this time, and he will manage to get into the pit lane nice and safely. I think he's made that move on Gilly in the meantime. And yeah, he's loving life. And he's also going to make the move on Egapro as they're 3 wide. What the hell happened there? Gilly is now going to lead the Grand Prix into turn 1. Zingy's not going to like that. He's going to send it to the inside, and he's going to make sure he does get that P1 position. You can see there the Aston Martin manages to hold on back to ahead of Gilly where they were originally, but that was absolutely incredible. 1 second behind was Gilly. All of a sudden, he gains so much and manages to lead for a split second. Egapro looked like he was in trouble there for a moment. I did not expect that to happen. In the meantime, Heichler, 2.2 seconds now to the back of that pack. He does gain, but Zingy breaks away with those 2 cars in between him. Nifojan going off the circuit. Very unfortunate to switch onto his camera at that point, but that is a very nice save. That is the benefit of that. A very nice save. Dave Raptors now is on that soft tyre. Let's get the tyre data up just for the end of this race. He's on that soft tyre, and he's going to be loving life at the moment. Egapro actually is going for the same strategy. He's gone on to that medium tyre, pitting Gilly, not pitting, and Heichler's made that move. 5-second time penalty for Egapro as he speeds into the pit lane. What just happened in the last 10 seconds there? I don't understand how that even works. Egapro is now going to be at a significant disadvantage compared to Gilly. Gilly is going to once again look at gaining at the very end on time penalties. Absolutely incredible for him. He's going to probably lose the position to Dave Raptors, but he'll gain it on Nifojan even after pitting. He's on that hard tyre, so he's trying to extend it even further until he gets onto the soft tyre. Egapro's done an incredible job as he pits just a few laps later than Dave Raptors to go onto the soft tyre from the mediums, trying to make it work. The question is, will he have enough pace advantage to at least get back ahead of Gilly? And how much will he extend? Because regardless if that time penalty exists, it would still show if the overcut or the undercut will be an advantage, if the hard medium or medium soft will be the advantage. Is Dave Raptors showing significant pace with those soft tyres. Absolutely phenomenal from him. The gap between Zingy and Heichler, 4.2 seconds. So Heichler's managed to close up a little bit after that, but he does have that time penalty once again, of course. Egapro is going to be in P5 after Gilly does make that pit stop. He goes on to the medium tyre. He's gone that long into the race and still goes on to the medium tyre. What on earth was that? Egapro now, he does have a 5 seconds. There's not going to be so straightforward. His tyres are going to be warm. He's going to have such a pace advantage initially. I reckon he can still make this work. Yeah, sure, Gilly's going to be catching up later on, and he does have quite a few laps to get it done, but that's a 3-second advantage that he needs to make sure that he catches until he gets within a 5-second time penalty range against a soft tyre that's going to be quicker at this stage of the race. So that is an interesting situation for sure. Very interesting. Dave Raptors goes for the fastest lap, no doubt, as he goes for that fastest lap. What? No doubt as he's on that soft tyre. Just about managed to get it out there. Sorry for that. Zingy's, however, still leads the way by quite a nice margin. Heichler is gaining on him, so he's found a nice rhythm. Zingy's going to have to make sure that he tries and figures this one out, although he's not really worrying because he's not going to be under pressure from Heichler with that time penalty, even if he does make that overtake work. 24 laps for Nifojan on the hard tyre. Let's go and have a look with him just to see how he's getting on with these tyres. Absolutely incredible stuff. Very good effort to make it work. You can see there's a kind of a little bit of a dot on these tyres as he misses the corner. It's kind of like blistering almost instead of the lines that we saw. I mean, blistering, yeah, that is the lines. But you can see how rugged the tyres look, how matte they look. They're definitely very worn in. The question is, how long left have they got as he understeers basically off the circuit with the lack of grip that he does have. He's not going to go to the pit lane yet though. He's still trying to go as long as he possibly can to see if he can just go maybe to the end, I don't know. Or maybe have a look at a fastest lap at the very end of this race. We'll see, we'll see. He should have a good pace advantage if he does so, because the car's going to be so light and the tyres are going to be so fresh. Pro 9.2 seconds away, so he continues to break away. He's got about 2 laps of pace compared to Gilly. According to last game, of course, I think we might see about 6 or 7 laps pace if we can go off any previous games. And then the medium tyres will start to have their advantage. So until then, Pro can keep gaining this advantage and make sure that he just secures the position if possible. 5-second time penalty, of course, is always going to come back at him a little bit. But he's 4.3 seconds in front if you consider that 5-second time penalty. In the meantime, the top 2 are looking a bit interesting. Once again, plagued by a time penalty, but still on track-wise, we can still have some excitement. Zingy leads the way, but only by 2.7 seconds compared to the 4.5 seconds he had earlier on after the pit stop. So 2-lap difference. Is that really enough to give him that tyre advantage? I don't know. Maybe that's true. Maybe it is looking like that. Lap 27 out of 33, he has the pace, but I think by the time we get to the end of this race, it probably wouldn't be enough for him to be able to hold on. We'll have to see, but he's not got that much battery. He has not got that much battery. Pretty much even more or less with Heischler. Maybe Heischler a little bit less, but still pushing Zingy either way. So doing a very good job, but he makes a mistake as we speak, and that is going to be that gap immediately lost. 3.1 seconds. Maybe it extends a little bit more. No, 3.0. He's managed to bring it down to immediately. That is going to be that situation sorted. Going to make it even more difficult for him to actually catch up. Pro and Nifojan have a bit of a coming together, interestingly. That is very, very interesting. Nifojan not pitting yet, so he is just trying to hold on for dear life. But Pro, he's pitted, trying to make this strategy work, but all of a sudden is going to lose out significantly after that interesting situation, going defensive. Is Nifojan. Pro is going to make that move. There's not really any point of fighting that because he's got no energy compared to Pro and no tyre grip. So tried his best to fight that. And sure, Pro has lost quite a lot there because now that is a 7.6 second gap. I don't know. But a 7.5 second gap or somewhat. I don't know. Anyway, it's a gap. It's a gap that has shrunk after that situation. So that is going to be possibly make or break for Gilly. That was very weird, but it happened. You can't do anything about it now. Nifojan, you can see how dirty the car is after spending a fair bit of time in the gravel, but they're surely going to make a pit stop now. Surely. They're absolutely all over the place right now. They need to do something about this tyre situation. Otherwise, they're probably going to be in the wall very shortly. No, carrying on. Still carrying on. You can see the advantage that Gilly has. 5.7 seconds now after it being, 8 to 5 seconds-ish kind of when we started this lap. Now the gap between the top 2 kind of extends a little bit after the little moment that Heischler had, maybe losing his confidence in the car after that issue. You can definitely blame that potentially on the tyre situation, as I was talking about earlier on, and many times this stream. The tyre model is so much more complex with blistering. If you spam the throttle, you're going to wear those tyres out very significantly, and you're going to have that really bad disadvantage. So if you're smooth on the throttle, you're going to be good to go. And I think Zingy's pretty good at that. So Heisler, I'm not saying that they're not good at that, but I'm just saying that might explain the situation with their tyres. Maybe they just all of a sudden had a drop-off point, and now they've either lost the pace and they can't find it, and Zingy's managed to manage that blistering situation better, or he's just lost his confidence. Dave Raptors, in the meantime, got about just under 4 laps to be able to try and catch up 7/10 on Heisler, get within that time penalty range. You can definitely do it, but 8 laps on a set of softs, I don't think he's going to have that much more pace. Heisler should have the pace advantage. We'll have to wait and see. 0.7 now. It's going to be an interesting one. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Jan is now just in front of Gilly. Gilly is on that fresher tyre. He comes up to the back of the Red Bull into turn 7 and 8, which is going to lose him a lot of time looking to the outside line, but Jan is on the racing line. Turn 9, he's going to get DRS. He should have a significant advantage in grip, even in the braking zone, and I don't know what's going to happen there. All of a sudden, it looked like it was going to be contact. Jan backs off. Gilly broke as late as he could. Nothing happened. That's legal, and that is fair and square. Well done, Gilly, to make that move. He is on that medium tyre, but all of a sudden, that gap is now just 8 seconds. It was somewhat, I think it was 8.6 earlier on. So he has still gained a lot of time, but he's not gaining enough if he wants that position on Eager Pro. He is not gaining enough. Just to explain the situation that Nifo's in, he is not only on 30 lap old tyres, but he is also using no racing line, which he's not used to. So I would like to clarify that. And I think I've just seen a raindrop right there. I have just seen a raindrop. Now, that doesn't really change anything, because no one's going to be making a pit stop by the end of this race. You're just going to have to be very careful. But it could possibly give Dave Raptors and Gilly the opportunity to catch up. It really depends on who manages slick tyres in a wet condition. That is Jan taking the car for a quick spin, as those tyres are not only old, but they're also in wet conditions now. And yeah, you can see the braking point is just completely gone. He's going to have to go for a set of intermediate tyres, and Gilly's made a mistake. I do not believe it. He's got damage. He's got no front wing. I was just saying it's about who manages the wet conditions with the slick tyres. Gilly's made a mistake. It's going to be Jan into the pit lane. It's going to be Gilly into the pit lane. Eager Pro is going to secure a P2. P2? A P4 after all of that. Absolutely incredible. Jan gets that time penalty as well, unfortunately, as he speeds into the pit lane. A new front wing is available, and that is going to be a very, 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 very sad end to the race for Gilly, and he might even lose out here to Jan. However, looking at the time penalty situation, 11 seconds. He's going to have a significant advantage, and at the moment, he might actually have 11 seconds. But will he be able to hold on? As Zingy starts lap 33 and might even have a look at lapping Gilly, but by the time Gilly's got his tyres warmed up, and he doesn't even need to get those tyres warmed up, the slick tyres on this very, very wet surface, it's not going to change anything. I think he's done this before back in Hungary last season, and he managed to win that race. And I think he's going to do it again. Dave Raptors, unfortunately, will not be able to find the pace on Heisler. Maybe Heisler makes a mistake like Gilly, and Dave Raptors does catch up. But well-deserved for Heisler, managing to make this work. And he's going to be able to take a P2 in his first ever podium in LSI. Dave Raptors retires! He retires! I do not believe it, on the final lap of the race, on the inside of turn 4. Absolutely heartbreaking. Eager Pro is going to take the podium. He's going to take the podium at Spain. Bet he didn't expect that one after the race he's had today. Absolutely incredible. Despite speeding into the pit lane, he is going to be loving this. Zingy has got a final sector to go, more or less. And he is going to win not only the sprint race, but the main race. Is going to take very, very, very lovely points home. And he's going to extend his lead in the championship for the Friday tier. Comes around the final corner. Not only will he extend the championship, but AlphaTauri Zingy wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Slick tyres in the wet conditions. Heischler is going to get his first ever LSI podium. How about that? Salute you. I salute you. Well done. Oh, and EagerPro goes off. EagerPro goes off. These tyres are completely gone. Will Nifo be able to catch up quick enough on these intermediate tyres? I doubt it. But EagerPro are having a bit of a scare. As long as he just keeps it smooth, he will secure that podium. And that will be a very nice way for him to end this incredibly, incredibly tough Spanish Grand Prix event. He's really trying to make it work. The car's just sliding with absolutely no grip with the slick tyres. He manages to get that podium in the end. Nifojam will take the P4, but Gilly looking like they've just done enough to get that position away from the Red Bull. He's got one more corner to go. As long as he doesn't make a mistake, he will secure that position. Let's have a look at it. Gilly to P4. He will get that P4 in the end. Well done indeed. Very, very good job. Dave Raptors, but he will secure P6 and he will get points at least. Zingy driver of the day, disconnecting, down the order, stays in the race, makes it work. Absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. It's not the first time he's won a race despite disconnecting, actually. Back in Sochi we saw that happen. So well done indeed. AlphaTauri on the top step once again. We'll quickly look at the results as we see Zingy win, Heischler in P2 and EagerPro in P3. We've got Gilly, Nifojan, Dave Raptors with the fastest lap scoring points, and then End Andrews DNFing followed by Gatos and Sefka earlier on. Race director just in case if we need to see it a little bit later on. And then we'll quickly go to the pit stops just in case as well. And that will be it for the Spanish Grand Prix. We will see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spanish Grand Prix. We're today for the post-race interviews. We start off with the race winner, Zingy. Zingy, that was a chaotic one. Sprint race, pretty fun I'm sure. Pretty much deja vu on the opening lap, defending into turn 1, 2 and 3 of course. In the main race, looking a bit tricky, but you managed to get back. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, the sprint race was quite easy most of the time. I was actually about 8 tenths faster than Andrews per lap. I was getting a gap to 8, 9 tenths, and then he just came back with the RS, which is fair enough. It was very powerful, but I managed to cling on somehow. There's not much comment on that, but I knew my pace was good going into the main race. So if I kept Andrews behind, I thought he would inevitably make a mistake. And he did, he spun, and then obviously he left for don't know what reason. But nothing really happened with the exception of an assassination attempt on me by a Serbian, so with the exception of that, it was kind of straightforward, but I enjoyed racing, especially with High, she was quite quick.
Fair enough, fair enough. Unfortunately, we didn't see what happened with that incident, but yeah, very well played. Strategy was difficult. The race was difficult with all the issues. Well done to keep a very strong mentality and stay in the race. Well done. Very well deserved. And next race, going to be Brazil. I know you don't really like it, but it's a different format. Are you excited for the 35% race followed with also full quali?
I believe 35% races are going to be much better for like close action-packed racing because there's not too much strategy involved, but at the same time, you've got like an element of looking after the tyres, maintaining your ERS. So I think, especially with the race we had to take that 50%, which was very good, I think we can have another good race, and I hope to win that one as well.
Are you looking forward to go onto a soft, medium, soft, rather than having to get onto the hards, or are the hards not bad this game?
The hards are very good this game. I was very, very consistent on them. I enjoyed racing them, and I didn't see a problem. I don't know, people might have different opinions, but my pace, apart from a few mistakes here and there, was very good, so I like the hards, but racing a faster tyre is always more entertaining for, well, everyone, really.
Fair enough. Then I'll ask one more question. I'll ask, would you have preferred, well, what do you think will be faster next week? A medium soft or a soft hard and just go long onto that hard to get the undercut?
You've got a good point in both. I think the soft hard can be good, but with the two softer compounds, the initial phase will be very quick, so I don't know if the hard will be able to mitigate that time loss, so I'm not sure.
Well said, fair enough. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Serbian field assassination.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Very well deserved. And we move on to Heischler. Heischler, P2, first ever podium in LSI. Are you proud of that one? That was tricky at the end as well.
But nah, is this my first?
Yeah, it's your first podium.
I didn't even know. Was I that shit? Was I that shit last game? But yeah. To be honest, I didn't really expect to have that much space. Me and Zinger were talking before the race that I was still a bit off in the beginning of this game. But it's not actually that bad. Only quality pace is a bit meh, but the race pace was really good. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, the race was a bit irritating because disconnections and being P3 all the time and then having Dave Raptors all the time in your DRS whilst he is obviously not quicker with all the mediums. So yeah, that was a bit frustrating, but I pulled through. Yeah, pitted earlier for the mediums because softs just die off after 6 laps or something. And I saw that on the Delta with Dave Raptors. He was not closing in and much more. And then I eased off a bit because I thought, yeah, I have this. And overtaking Zingy and pulling a 3-second gap won't really do much. so won't work. So yeah, I just settled for P2 and just tiptoed in the rain at the last laps. That's it.
Fair play, fair play. Well deserved. It's finally arrived. Very well done. New era, new game. I hope you're very happy with that one. Hopefully this is only up from here. So well done. Next track, Brazil. Do you like the circuit in the new game? Have you even tried it yet?
Yeah, I haven't. I have driven it, but with a taped setup.
Right.
It wasn't a great setup, and to be honest, it was a bit awkward to drive Brazil. So I don't really know what to think of it yet. I will drive some TT beforehand, and then I will see.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully we can see you get another podium there. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Not that bad.
Well done today. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And we move on to Gilly. Gilly, what happened at the end? What happened?
Well, I got assassinated by a Scotsman at one point. Can we just note that?
Right, okay.
I was pushing too hard to catch up to Igor, I think, and got wingless and beached on a curve. But then I got to play with Nifo for a bit, so that was okay. It was quite not much happened, but I was always on it, trying hard, so that was quite good. I heard you say. What did you say? Oh, why have I gone so long and then gone on to the mediums? That's because I've been trying to pit since lap 18, but it kept launching me in. Off the track.
I see. Well, it seems that's just a feature of Spain, unfortunately, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, a lot of people suffered from that one. We almost even had a scare from Dave Raptors. I don't know if it was a bump or not, but he almost ended it all. So yeah, I don't blame you for that, but well done to hold on to the P4 at the very end. Very well done for that one. Brazil, next race. Do you like that circuit? Do you think you can do well? Maybe try and use brake bias. That seems to be, I think, a benefit for you in like the middle sector.
I don't know. I was quite strong in it on the previous game, and middle sector is where I struggled, and hopefully this game I think I struggle less on. So I'm optimistic.
Fair enough. Well, hopefully we can see right up there. Gilly for president, thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I got wet.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the Saturday tier Spanish Grand Prix. We'll see you next week for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We'll see you on Tuesday for some open lobbies. Thank you very much once again, I'll say it. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.